I'm life and business coach Samantha, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Welcome to another episode of the Badass Mother podcast. I hope you are doing amazing. I would love to just take a quick moment and encourage you, if you have not yet submitted a review for this podcast in Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening, I would appreciate it so much if you would. The feedback helps me to want to keep going on those days when I'm feeling a little like this is a lot of work. But it also helps other people to find the podcast and know that it's going to be really worth their time. There are so many podcasts out there now that I think it really does help to have more ratings and more reviews. So if you would just take a moment to do that, I would be so grateful. Today, we are talking about past versus future decision making. Developing my skills at consult calls and walking people through their objections has helped me learn so much about decision making. This is one piece of that, past versus future decision making, but there are so many other pieces to consult calls, to objections, to decision making. And if you're curious about that, that is something I absolutely love to, first of all, do on consult calls, and you can see it in real time as I walk you through how you make your decisions. But it is also something I love to teach my clients. So if you're interested in either of those, you can absolutely pick a time in my calendar to take this work deeper and have a call with me to talk about your decision making. If you're interested in that, stay tuned at the end of the episode or check the show notes for the link to schedule a call. I recently had a consult call where the person I was chatting with was telling me about how they have invested a lot in the past in their business and didn't get their money's worth from it. They felt like these were not good investments and they were not happy with the results that they got. Now, getting your money's worth and getting the results that you wanted from your investments is another topic for another podcast, because I do think that it's really important to own getting your money's worth from an experience or an investment, no matter what. This is something that I've committed to doing with all of my investments, and I always get way more than my money's worth out of my investments because of that commitment, but also because of how I make my decisions. Today, we are strictly talking about decision making, so we're going to put a pin in that getting your money's worth idea, but I do think it's important, if you feel like you have a pattern of not doing that, it's important for you to look at that. The way that this person was thinking about her decision to hire me, it was not based on me, my testimonials, my marketing, anything that I had put out there, not even our conversation that we had had up until then. It was also not based on my program. So she had asked me a lot of questions about my program. It was not about that. And it was also not about where she currently is or her goals. The way that she was thinking about her decision was entirely based on what happened in the past. And this is really common. I'm definitely not calling her out. This is a very common experience for most of us. So I wanted to just use it as an example because you've probably been there too if you're not currently there. This seems like a really sensible way to make decisions. And that was something that I acknowledged to her. This is kind of like our most default basic mode of decision making. What happened before? Assume that will happen again. Make decision accordingly, right? Like 3 steps, super easy. Go with what you know, and you will stay safe. This is the most basic program that we get in our brain for decision making. So basically, imagine that your brain is like a brand new Mac computer. This way of decision making is like the Safari way to get on the internet. This is like your web browser, Safari. This came on your computer. It's not the best one out there. Like, it's okay. It's fine. But like most of us are going to go download Chrome and use it because it's better, you know? This is the same with the decision making. This is our default mode. This is like straight from the factory, the way that we make our decisions. But there are other options out there that might be better. This type of decision making is very basic. It's not the kind of decision making that is going to lead you to your optimal success as a brand new entrepreneur. Because this is why, if you are new, you have literally never made a decision that led to a successful business. This past focused part of your brain thinks a successful business is impossible for you because you have never proven that you can do it. No matter what decisions you've made, you have never done it. So with this kind of decision making, you are not going to be making all-in decisions. You're going to maybe be making toe in the water decisions or like back in the cave decisions. Those are kind of the 2 options. Trust me, I have totally been there. When I started my business, I tried to spend as little money as possible. I truly thought that this was the responsible way to build a business because I was thinking, well, I don't know if my business is going to be successful, so I should not invest very much in it because I might lose all of that money. So it led me to either not invest or invest in like really lower cost, but like not really valuable things. It was not the kind of things that were actually going to make a difference for me in my business. What shifted for me was realizing that by conservatively building a business with the expectation that it wasn't actually going to work, I was creating a business that actually didn't work. I didn't have all the tools that I needed, and by refusing to invest in them, I was telling myself that I was never going to be successful. Because let's face it, if I truly believed that it was possible for me to be successful, and if these tools were the things that I needed to reach that, I would do whatever it took to get those tools, right? So this was showing me that I didn't have that belief. This was showing me that my belief was no matter what I invest, I'm never going to get to where I want to be. I'm never going to make my money back. I'm never going to make money, period. And that led me to minimal investments and ones that weren't really going to move the needle for me and for my business. When I opened myself up to believing that success was possible for me, I became willing to do whatever it took to be able to invest in the things that I knew would help me reach my goals. At this point, I shifted into future decision making, looking at what I wanted to achieve and asking myself, what do I need to do to make that happen? So for me, what this looked like was building up some other streams of income to allow me to have money to invest in the business that I wanted to be building. So I took on more life coaching clients at that life coaching agency where I worked before. I also started doing some virtual assisting work on the side. I was doing bookkeeping for a friend's business. I was selling clothes on Poshmark. I was doing all kinds of things to really be building up my income in other areas so that I could invest and then keep investing in the things that I knew were really going to help me get where I wanted to go. My main expense during this time was coaching, because I knew that I really didn't need strategy. I had helped a lot of other people build their businesses before. Like, I knew the basics, and I knew that what was going wrong in my business was around my belief and around my way of thinking about myself and the success that I wanted to create and the business that I wanted to have. For me, it was all about mindset. So I was investing at first heavily in mindset coaching and in life coaching. So I did a group program type thing, and I had a one-on-one coach who was helping me really see my thoughts. I would set a goal, she would ask me how I was going to do it, and then we would go through all the mental obstacles that were going to be in my way. This is really similar to the approach that I take with a lot of my clients now. Some truly need some marketing and business strategy, and I'm happy to talk through that with them. But even the ones who really need it, the bulk of what we talk about is what's going on in their mind. Because the business part, I believe, is pretty darn simple. The mental part is the challenge, just like with our decision making. I was opening my mind to what was possible in the future when I was making these future-based decisions, instead of being limited by what had happened before. If I had stayed in that place and continued to make past focused decisions, I would literally still be at $1,000 a month, if not back in a 9-to-5 job by now, because I really couldn't picture myself as somebody who was making $8,000, $10,000 a month. I never would have reached that, let alone 5. Like 5 was my initial goal. Actually, no, 4,000 was my initial goal, because I really wanted to have a $50,000 year, which now I'm like, oh, that's so cute. What a cute goal I had. But that still would have been totally out of reach for me. I still wouldn't be there if I hadn't really taken this into my own hands and realized I determine what my future is going to be. My past does not determine my future. The quality of decisions that I am making right now determines my future. I want to say that again, because I think this is really good, and I want you to get this. Your past does not determine your future. The quality of decisions you make right now determines your future. Do you really understand how empowering that is? I think it took me a long time to feel empowered about that. I felt like a victim with that for a while. Like, well, I can't do it, I think it's really easy for us to just feel like, well, I'm going to throw in the towel because I don't know what I'm doing. But you do. You know what you want to create in the future. And I'm pretty sure you have a good idea of what your next right step is. And a lot of you are using your past as a reason to not go after it. You are using your past as a reason to not invest. You're using your past as a reason to not put yourself out there and take the steps that you know you need to take to grow this. You're using your past as rationale for why you shouldn't do anything because this isn't going to be successful. And that's all total BS. Remember, past decision making is assuming what happened in the past is what will happen now and in the future. Future decision making is making decisions from where you want to be in the future. And it starts with believing that it's actually possible for you. How much do you believe that the thing that you want in your future is actually possible for you. If you don't, mindset or life coaching is 100% what you need right now. Not business strategy, not funnels, not websites, not Facebook ads, not chat bots, or whatever other shiny object is out there for business. If you don't truly, deeply believe that you can achieve the goal you've set for yourself, that is a major roadblock for you, and we need to work on it. If you need more help getting into this space of future decision making, I want you to imagine yourself a year from now, having accomplished the goal that you want to achieve over the next year. So maybe for you, that's like me with the 50,000. Maybe you want to be looking back a year from now, having made $50,000 in your business. Maybe it's 100,000. Maybe it's more. Imagine that you have achieved that goal. It is a year from now, and you're looking back at who you are today and the decisions you're making today. From that space, I want you to write a letter to your current self and give her advice on her decision making, on her investments, on how she spends her time, on what her next steps should be, and really suspend your disbelief doing this. I know it can be a little weird, but if you push through, it will be so powerful for you. It will be so mind-blowing for you to take the time to really get in touch with that future self, that possibility self, the self that has achieved the thing that you want to achieve. And the more deeply you can believe in it, the more possible it becomes for you. All right, want to take this work deeper? I would love to talk to you about how you make decisions and how you handle this objection on consults. Maybe both. Sometimes the thing that we struggle with ourselves is the thing we struggle with on consults with our potential clients. I would love to invite you onto a free call with me and really dig into this work more and talk about how you can move forward into that future self who has achieved your goal. Whether you decide to work with me further or not, you're definitely going to walk away with a lot of clarity on your decision making and your next steps. To sign up, go to bit.ly/callsamantha, bit.ly/callsamantha. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.